Hi, welcome back. This is The Quantum Nature of Change by Jason Gray. Change is the most sought after yet misunderstood force in existence. People wish for transformation in their lives, their relationships, their circumstances, but they wait for the world to change first, believing it is external forces that must shift. They pray for new beginnings yet cling to old patterns. They speak of revolution yet resist the very collapse that must precede it. The truth is simple. To change everything, one must first change oneself. This is not merely an inspirational sentiment, it is a structural law of the living lattice. Change is not something that happens to you, it is something that happens through you. It is an internal recalibration so precise, so absolute, that the field reorganizes itself in response. The world is not separate from you. It is a mirror field, an echo architecture, a responsive lattice that reflects your state of being in real time. To shift the external, you must first alter the internal. But how? But why? The answer lies at the intersection of quantum mechanics, lived experience, and the sovereign flame within you. The field responds, consciousness as the architect. Modern science has already begun to fracture the illusion. Reality is not solid, it is not fixed. It is not independent of you. At the smallest levels, matter does not behave like matter, it behaves like possibility. Subatomic particles remain undefined until observed. This is not theory, this is measured reality. Which means this: you are not inside the world is forming in response to your observation. The living lattice does not operate as a static environment. It behaves like a responsive system, a field that organizes itself around perception, attention, and internal state. What you focus on stabilizes. What you repeat strengthens. What you embody becomes structure. The field does not judge. It does not filter desire from fear. It simply mirrors your dominant signal. If your internal state is built on lack, the lattice arranges conditions to match. If your internal state shifts into clarity, presence, and direction, the structure begins to reorganize accordingly, not symbolically, literally. This is why change begins within, because the outside is downstream from you. The collapse requirement, death before reconfiguration. People say they want change. What they actually want is improvement without disruption, but the lattice does not work that way. I've said this to so many people. I've said this, that if you want to change, you got to get uncomfortable. And you can see it in their faces. They don't want to be uncomfortable. It's just how it works. Okay. What they actually want is improvement without disruption, but the lattice does not work that way. Every true transformation requires a collapse event. The version of you that created your current life cannot sustain the life you are trying to enter. One structure must dissolve for another to form. This is not punishment, this is mechanics. Identity is pattern, pattern is repetition, repetition becomes reality. When you change deeply enough, the pattern destabilizes, relationships shift, habits break, certainties dissolve. It feels like loss, but it is not loss, it is reconfiguration. Most people stop here, they retreat. They rebuild the old pattern because it is familiar, but if you remain, if you allow the collapse to complete, something entirely new emerges. Not an improved version of the old self, a different structure altogether. This is the rebirth point, not spiritual, architectural. The mirror field, as you are, it appears. There is no separation between your internal state and your external experience. The world you encounter is not random, it is reflective. When you are aligned, the world opens. When you are fragmented, the world fractures. The same environment can feel like opportunity or hostility, depending entirely on your state of being. This is not because reality changes first. It is because you do, and the mirror field updates accordingly. People trapped in cycles of struggle are not cursed, they are looped. Their internal pattern continues to project the same signal, and the lattice continues to return it. The moment the signal changes, the moment the internal pattern breaks, the reflection must change. It has no choice, because the system is not separate from the source generating it. You are not reacting to reality, you are informing it. From effect to cause, reclaiming the origin point. Most people live as effects. They believe life happens to them, that outcomes are dictated by circumstance, luck, or other people, so they wait, they hope, they endure. But this is the inversion. You are not the result. You are the origin point. Your thoughts are not passive. Your emotions are not random. Your identity is not fixed. They are inputs. They are instructions being fed into the lattice continuously, and the lattice responds with precision. This is why some remain stuck while others break through, not because one is favored, but because one becomes deliberate. The moment you take responsibility for your internal state, you step out of reaction and into creation. You stop asking reality for permission and begin issuing direction. The pen as a tool of reconfiguration. For years, I ignored the signal within me, the pull to write, to express, to externalize what was moving internally. I lived through patterns that did not reflect who I was, wore identities that never fit, moved through structures that kept repeating, until I picked up the pen again and something shifted, not gradually, immediately. Writing was not expression, it was alignment. The moment I began translating internal signal into structured output, the lattice responded. Clarity increased, direction sharpened, opportunities emerged without force, not because I chased them, but because I became congruent with what I was meant to express. The world did not change first, I did, and the reflection followed. The decision point, becoming the shift. Change is happening whether you participate or not. The only question is your role in it, observer or architect. If you want a different life, you cannot remain the same structure. If you want clarity, you cannot remain in confusion. If you want stability, you cannot remain fragmented. The field responds to what you are, not what you say you want. You cannot enter a new reality while maintaining the architecture of the old one. The decision is simple, not easy, but simple. Will you continue reinforcing the current pattern, or will you become the disruption that breaks it? The moment you shift, truly shift, everything else must follow, not eventually, inevitably. Change is not something you wait for. It is not something granted. It is not something external. Change is the moment you stop repeating what you no longer choose to be. The moment you alter the signal, the lattice rearranges, the mirror updates, the world responds, and a new reality begins. Jason Gray. #Winnipeg, #Manitoba, #Canada. All right. Thank you so much. There is so much noise in this world right now with manifestation. I see it all the time. And I used to try some of it because I've tried about everything. And it's a system that people think works because it probably works some of the time. And so they'll keep trying at it and trying it and trying it. And what Jason's saying is 100% true. Everything around you is going to match what you are. Consciousness in the field and the lattice give you what you are, not what you want. Because even to say you want says you lack it. And so then what you receive back is lack. And so there are key things like that a lot of systems don't teach. But that's one of the basic premises of it. So until you are what you desire and you get your frequency to that and your tone to that, you're not going to match it. You're just not. You keep running in circles and keep looping and trying other things and beating yourself up and thinking it's not working, and that's the trap of it. Get your signal right. You'll be good to go. All right, thank you. See you next time.